RC Bhargava, Chairman and Managing Director of Maruti, joins us now. Mr. Bhargava, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I mean, I'm sure you're excited and delighted about the kind of auto dispatch numbers Maruti is reporting, but I won't get there. What I want to understand from you is that interest rates have come down. What is your understanding on the direct correlation between car demand and low interest rates?
See, the car demand, to the extent that borrowers or buyers of cars are borrowing money from the bank to finance their purchases, the interest rate plays a major aspect of their total cost of owning a car. And therefore, any lowering of interest rates by the banks, not by the RBI, has an impact on their decision to buy a car because they look at their ownership cost. Now, these cuts in the repo rates by RBI have been happening periodically over the last year and a half or 2 years. But to the extent the borrowers have benefited from these cuts, that extent is lower than what the repo rate cuts have been. Now, this last 25 basis points, how much of it will actually result in a lowering of lending rates is difficult to say.
Absolutely, Mr. Bhargava. And morning, firstly, because the industry has been talking about the importance of transmission of lower rates. So do you think this impact of this 25 bips rate cut is going to take easily 1 or 2 quarters more?
See, it depends whether the banks are able to lower their rates of deposits. Because for a bank to pass on a rate cut to the customer, that means lower their lending rates, either they have to have lower rates of borrowing from the depositors, or their costs of operations have to come down so that they don't need as much of a margin between their deposit rates and their lending rates. Because they need to have a certain amount of operating profits coming out of lending. Now, I don't think there's going to be very significant reductions in operating costs in the near term, which really means reduction in deposit rates. If deposit rates come down, if people are willing to deposit money at lower rates, then I think you can expect the benefits to be passed on. But if the deposit rates cannot be come down, if the banks assess that people will not deposit money if rates come down very much, then I think you'll find that these repo rate cuts will not have too much of a benefit to any customer.
Mr. Bhargava, interest rates in last 2 years, they've come down by about 175 bips. I mean, that's almost 2%, which is a sizable cut. So one is that
repo rate.
Yeah, repo rate, sorry. Now, do you think that rather than absolute demand, we could see a significant amount of trade up in cars? Consumers will have more money to spend, so rather than buying a new car, existing consumers can actually looking at upgrading?
No, but these cuts in rates have not been passed on to the consumers. While the Reserve Bank has cut repo rates by 175 basis points, I don't think the lending rate for customers has come down. I'm not sure of the exact figure, but it can't be even 1%.
Fair point. Mr. Bhargava, let's just chat about, the health of the auto sector right now. And it's pretty much on track to achieve a double-digit volume growth in the second half. Clearly one has seen you at Maruti as well clock in 12 to 15% in the last few months on a consistent basis. Do you think there is more upside to the sales volumes in the coming few months as well? Or do you think this projection is as best as it gets, at least for this year?
No, September is festival period, so everybody is enjoying the festival season. But I don't think you'll get a 25% growth rate happening throughout the year.
So do you think right now the uptick what Maruti has reported in September is only at dealer level? Now in the month of October, we'll find out the real story.
Nobody reports retail sales. Everybody reports only wholesale sales to the dealers.
No, I understand that. My question to you is, sir, is that I'm sure you got a sense on, sense from your dealers, from your network on what kind of inquiries and what kind of customer footfalls are there. Do you think that 2016 Diwali and Dussehra sales would be significantly better than what we've seen in 2014 and 15?
I think the retail sales will be better. This year, as we have seen, the sales have been better for the industry as a whole. Maruti sales are not very different from the growth which we had projected for this year, which is double digit, or which was last year also was double digit. So I don't think we will see too much of a growth because, as I've said repeatedly, we don't have capacity to grow very much faster than that.
So, which is my last and final question. What are you doing in order to manage the delivery schedule? I mean, I walk into a Maruti showroom, all I get to hear is that, there is a waiting period of 2 to 4 weeks now.
Yeah, that is unfortunately a fact that we are short of capacity, and the only answer to that is to expedite to the extent we can the capacity in Gujarat. And we are working at that. The commercial production in Gujarat will start towards the end of January. We'll start sales of Gujarat production in February. The trial production will be starting very soon, but that's trial.
2017, calendar 2017, how much additional you will get from the Gujarat plant then?
For the whole 17-18, Gujarat should add, because most of the year will be running on one shift. Second shift will start towards the second half of 17-18. So 125,000 or something like that.
Okay.
Okay. Good to hear that, Mr. Bhargav, and I'm sure the customers out there would be really happy that at least in 2017-18, they're not going to have to wait all that long for Maruti cars. Good to chat with you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.